So, hello and welcome to the Alpha Artist Q&A series. I'm Renata Tom, your host for today's webinar and a co-founder at Alpha, the B2B crowdsourced and purpose-driven art platform. This initiative highlights some of the most interesting artists that we have on our platform and is designed to inform and enlighten artists and collectors who can benefit from working with us. So for today's interview, we have Rodrigo Oliveira, who we're so pleased to have you here. He has been one of the first collaborators for Alpha and became a dear friend as well. And he has a beautiful work that we're going to be sharing with you today. So welcome, Rodrigo.
Thank you all so much. I'm really happy with the Q&A. Thank you for the invitation. It's really nice to have a space that I can, be open about my work and explain everything that I've been doing so far and all my trajectory and how I've gotten here. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous.
Don't be nervous. I also get nervous. Don't be nervous.
Thanks for you always get me.
So, Rodrigo, can you tell us where you've been spending the pandemic, your quarantine days, and how is it going for you so far?
Yeah, sure. So I've been in Rio so far. I spent the first month of my quarantine at my my hometown, which is it's very isolated, so it's pretty safe as well. But my family is not really respecting the quarantine so well. They're having people over, they're going in and out all the time. So I decided to come to my boyfriend's house. And it's still in the west side of Rio, in the periferia, but here we really respect the lockdown, and we take all the safety measurements that we need. And yeah, so it's been just Lucas and I and his aunt, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of the same for everyone everywhere. But for those who don't know your work, can you talk a little bit about your practice as a photographer?
Yeah, sure. So I started out photographing nature and doing some travel photography. And then as I moved to Australia, I started to become more interested about anthropology and studying and photographing people. And then, I was trying to start a project and work with things that I can really relate with. And that's how I started photographing the people of color of the LGBTQ plus community. So, and because I wanted, for me, it was important to do a work that I felt like I was an insider and not an outsider. I didn't want to be somebody else that was from an outside group documenting and kind of exploiting that group. So for me with the LGBT Black community, it's really easy for me to connect and relate because I'm part of both groups. So that's what I've been doing so far. So I've been working with suburban areas of Rio and documenting, people in the best light possible. I try to respect and get a pretty close and personal look into their lives. And I really just love the energy that everyone brings out. And, it's such strength and beauty, and being part of this community makes me really proud and makes me really happy to be, working and documenting them.
That's a beautiful project. It's called Carioca, Negro Queer. Queer. Sorry, Renata. But I think one thing that I mentioned to you before, it's beautiful to see the differences, and how each individual becomes a different universe. So it would be great if you could share with us one or even more stories that were striking to you during this work, and meeting all of those different people, and the different experiences maybe.
Yeah, sure. For me, one thing that strikes me the most is I've learned a lot through documenting these groups, because I was I grew up in a very small town inside a huge city. So my hometown is very isolated from the rest of the city of Rio, and there people are still pretty conservative. So my true identity, like for a really long time, I held back and I kept it to myself. And as I, put myself in like photographing the LGBT community, I've learned so much about my own self and how to be honest with with myself and my identity and projecting that into the outside. And then like for me, like accepting femininity as like for men not being a negative thing, and yeah, it's just I like I'm happier now, like being like wearing feminine clothes, like projecting to the outside my femininity, and breaking down like gender norms and gender barriers that once like really restricted me. And I think that this is like something really important that I've learned from my work, because like there's still prejudice within like the same group, the LGBT Q plus communities is very large, and like embraces a lot of people, and but that doesn't mean that like everybody will accept everyone. There's still like a lot of prejudice amongst these people, and I've been there as well. Like I've had like I used to be like a little bit prejudiced against men that were more feminine, and then like once I started working with them and realizing that it's not something that they're trying to force, like it's natural. It's a part of them, and I realized it's also a part of me, and I've been trying to deny that for so long. And now that I like I see the beauty in it, and like how actually beautiful it is for you to be honest with yourself. I feel like much better with myself and much easier to connect myself with these subjects as well. So like now the work, it's like it's a work that I do for them. I'm trying to show them the beauty in them and the resistance and resilience that like a group that has been very often marginalized, and yeah, this just makes everything so personal and so yeah, emotional for me as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the pictures are stunning. And you did mention a couple of times the word beauty. And so I think it would be interesting to talk a little bit about why, like, like setting like this tone, or like when like using the photos, like and the use of beauty, like on representing those stories, like the background sometimes might be like charged, but like the outcome is always so light and so beautiful and so uplifting. So maybe can you talk a little bit more about this choice and use of beauty?
So like from what I've seen so far, like with people documenting the LGBT community, especially so I focus in the like non-binary and trans community. So people who like really break down like gender norms and heteronormative perspectives. Pardon me. I noticed that like there's a lot of work that really exploits the suffering and the pain of like homophobia, racism, and prejudice in general. And I wanted to do something different. I wanted to show like their beauty, their strength, and like how they resist to a world that sometimes make us feel like nothing. And in doing so, I chose to like I started going into events like LGBT events, and there, like you have a safe place. So it's a safe environment because the party is for us. So like everyone who like is like a homophobe would not go to this place. So like right there, we all feel safe and embraced, and that's where we put like the best of ourselves. And I started photographing them at the parties, and it's amazing how people actually project that strength and that like just all the energy that we have inside us. And once like in the beginning, like and photographing people can be hard because you don't know when you're crossing like a boundary of like, you know, like if you like I always feel a little bit concerned if I'm like being intrusive or something. But there, you know, like, everybody loves the camera. So like as soon as you ask them for a picture, they, you know, like they do, like they
Those
pose.
new generations.
Yes. So like they give me you know, like what I actually want. And what I expect from the community. So all that strength and all that power is not something I have to, you know, like give them direction to do so. Like it's I literally just, you know, I photograph what is there presented to me, and then of course to make my technical choices of you know, which kind of light I'm using and everything, and I might bring them to a different corner so I can have a better lighting. But yeah, it's just, it's, you know, like it's nice for me to see that I'm photographing them in a place that they feel safe and that they feel comfortable. And then I think that this becomes very visible in my photograph. And yeah, that's the whole beauty of it for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think another thing that I would like to talk about is like the fact that you're a very young person. And what has been said recently is that, you know, like in the light of everything that is happening, the power that like the younger generations have in creating the change that like we've been longing for. And how do you see this work having an impact, maybe like on, you know, what is happening right now and moving forward? How do you see your work developing, maybe?
Well, history teaches a lot, and you know, like the whole like LGBT and Black movement has been going on for such a long time, and there are generations and generations of people before me, like before us, that have suffered so much to have the rights that we have now, and still like there's still a lot that we have to work on, but I think that they had given us the strength to be ourselves and to have like a better place for us to speak out. And so like I've like I said, like it's been a journey for me as well. Like I didn't start out you know, since I came out to my family and to all of my friends, it's like it's been difficult, but now like nowadays I see that there are more a better sense of community. The LGBT group, for example, it's becoming more united, as well as the Black community as well, because you still have like racism, internal racism, and then but now I think that people are just coming together. Like they really realize the strength in community, the strength that we have if we work as a group instead of as an individual, and it's so like I think we've learned from, you know, like previous movements that, you know, like if you have segregation within a specific group, it just makes things worse. So like you really have to embrace and accept everyone to make a big difference. So I think that this is what our generation like knows from, you know, like from what happened in the past now, and now we're just being, I don't know, I think we're bolder as well. There's also the digital area. It has changed so much. It has helped people to really project better their identities and being sorry.
Open to the differences.
Super nervous.
No, don't be nervous. It has been so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing all of those beautiful stories. Your story is definitely very inspiring to all of us. Maybe we're getting closer to the end of this conversation, unfortunately, but I would love to hear from you. Maybe can you share something that is inspiring to you, to your work, that like maybe can help us being even more inspired?
I think that what inspires me the most in my work is actually the people I photograph. It's the people I work with. It's what it might sound repetitive, but it's what I see like on a daily as I work is strength. You know, it's the resilience. It's people not letting themselves feeling down because of how, you know, the world treats them and sees them. And like, sorry, I get emotional, but sorry.
Don't make me cry too.
For me, that's it. It's yeah, the work I do is for them. It's for us, and damn it. I just think we need this, you know.
Yeah, Rodrigo, thank you. We need people like
absolutely
you,
do.
100%, that change the way that we see the world.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys for giving me the space to talk about this. It is really important for me to, you know, to give voice to our community here in Brazil, and I'm just done seeing the suffering. Sorry.
Okay, now we're all gonna cry. No, thank you so much. Like, again, like, you know, I said this before, I asked you to share something inspiring, like, and I think now there's like even like a different meaning, you know. Listening to you today has been like transformative, like, in a way. And like, you should continue counting on us to spread that message. So thank you for the trust and your collaboration for so many years now. We're very grateful to have you on board. Okay.
Thank you. Likewise. Thank you.
It's working with artists like you that gives purpose to this entire project. So thank you so much for being a part of this community.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much for making me part of it.
Thank you, everyone, and I hope you enjoy this artist Q&A, and we'll